Welcome back to the UFC Prospect Show. I am James Lynch. He is James Daukaus. And look who is back. It is Nick Kalikas, the general, back here on the show. We're doing this in all different places here. I think I'm the only one who's at home. But gentlemen, how are you guys this afternoon?
Doing well, man. Glad to be back with you guys. I miss you.
Yes, it's good to have you back here, Nick. Before we get into the card, the last UFC card of the year, got to mention to our audience, you got to hit that promo code UFC when you're signing up at BetDSI. You get the match deposit bonus, and you get the autograph photo of James Krause. Nobody is doing that right now in the MMA space, so take advantage of this offer, and we'll keep you more posted on that as we continue to do this show in the new year. I got to do a quick recap of last week. We'll go through this quickly. We got nothing to hide here. Krause's bet with Cody Garbrandt did not come through. Neither did the under, I think, in Anders and Munoz, but I think, in terms of the rest of the card, there's some really good picks there and some really good value there in Krause. My bet of the week did hit with Emmett and Ige going the distance, the parlay with Cruz and Munoz going the distance, although I had Munoz wrong. I don't know what happened to Pedro Munoz in that fight, but that was a little bit crazy. But we're looking ahead this week and looking to finish the year out very strong here with that. Let's get to the main event here. We've got a really interesting heavyweight fight headlining the last UFC card of the year. It is Derrick Lewis taking on Chris Daukaus, and it is Chris Daukaus, the favorite, coming in at minus 139 on BetDSI. The comeback on Derrick Lewis plus 119. Krause, who are you liking here?
Man, this is a really, really tough one. God, for me, dude, I've just lost so much money to Derrick Lewis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've just lost so much money to him. It's really difficult for me to bet against him. I can see Daukaus winning this fight, but Lewis is so dangerous all the time. It's really difficult for me to bet against him. So I'm gonna go Derrick Lewis, but I don't feel great about it.
Okay, Nick, who are you liking in the main event?
I mean, at the price, I think there's only one spot you could do, and it's Derrick Lewis, like he said. I think Daukaus has been performing at a high level. He looks great. He looks the part, but this is the ultimate test for me. I mean, if he could get by Derrick Lewis, then he's legitly in the top tier of the heavyweight division. I mean, Derrick Lewis, that power, you can't just bully the guy, right? You're not going to be able to take him down. You're not going to be able to control him. Not that Daukaus really wants to do that. Of course, he's in love with his striking, as he should be, because he's looked great. I mean, he's going to have the speed advantage. I think he is the better technical striker out of the two. But again, that power that Lewis has on the other side, all it takes is one and he can finish you. So I think he could be losing this fight until he's not, so to speak. So there's no way I can lay the chalk on Daukaus here just yet. I think it's a dog or pass situation.
I agree with you as well. It's a dog or pass situation in terms of betting this fight. If you're going to make a pick, I got to go with Daukaus. I'm sort of taking a risk here, right? Because this is a huge step up in competition for Chris Daukaus. He's had a great UFC career. He's finished all of his opponents. He's passed every test with flying colors. But you guys mentioned it there. There's a few guys in the weight class. I shouldn't even say a few. There's two guys in the weight class that can put your lights out at any moment, and it's Francis Ngannou and it's Derrick Lewis. And Derrick Lewis is one of those guys that no matter what round of the fight it's in, just ask Alexander Volkov. It could be the last second of the third round, and you could still lose. So Derrick Lewis has always got that threat of the knockout. It just, if you're looking at this on paper, Daukaus is younger, he's faster, he's really not taking much damage overall. And I think if he's he was going to play this smart and not do what Curtis Blades did and rush in for a takedown, I think there's a chance that if this fight goes into deeper waters, I think Daukaus could pull this one off. Now, again, this is a bit of a risk because, like I said, Shamil, his last opponent, nowhere near the level of Derrick Lewis in terms of both knockout power and overall skill set. I do also wonder at some point, is Derrick Lewis going to start to slow down here? This might be the fight that does it. I don't know. Again, he just lost to a guy in Cyril Gane who's now fighting for the undisputed title. So it's really tough to gauge that. It is a bit of a risk here, I think, picking Daukaus, but I just think that this seems like a fight where he should win. Now, one other thing I'll mention, I did speak to Daukaus ahead of this fight. He's no longer working for the police force. So that's a big factor in the sense that he's not working this camp. He's put all of his eggs into training for this fight. And you have to be when you're fighting Derrick Lewis. It's 5 rounds. I know experience favors Lewis as well, but I think Daukaus is, to me, he strikes me as a guy, as this new breed of heavyweights who's going to figure out a guy like Derrick Lewis. And to me, what it comes down to is there's multiple ways Daukaus could win this fight. I think he could win by knockout. I think he could win by submission. He's got a great ground game. Look at the Jimmies at Martinez, BJJ. Those guys know how to work the ground game very well. I just think with Lewis, it's like you're really banking on that one shot. And yes, probability of it happening is probably pretty good. But still, it's just one way to win. Daukaus has multiple ways to win, and that's why I'm picking him in this fight. Any more thoughts on the main event?
No, I think we all pretty much are on the same track, right? I mean, like I said, technically Daukaus has the advantages for sure. I think he's a better mixed martial artist, but he just hasn't got over that hump yet. And I think he can this weekend. Like you said, he should be a slight favorite. I understand it. That's why it's a difficult line to bet. So if you guys are unsure and you don't really want to lay the chalk, just sit back and watch it and see. You don't have to bet this fight. It's one of those situations, I think.
And I'd even avoid the fight goes inside the distance proper decision prop, because I honestly don't know, because there's fights that Derrick Lewis has gone the distance. Blagoy Ivanov, you had the Latifi fight as well. So I don't think it's a slam dunk. There's a finish in this one either. I know Daukaus has finished all of his opponents, but what if, it gets a little bit later, maybe take some damage? I don't know. I just think that to me, you're either on the Lewis side or it's a pass situation, like Nick sort of mentioned. Okay, let's get to the co-main event. Really interesting fight in the welterweight division. We've got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Belal Muhammad. It is Stephen Thompson as the favorite at -222. The comeback on Belal Muhammad +184. Let's start with you, Nick. Who are you liking in this fight?
I got to go with Wonderboy, man. I got to go with Stephen Thompson. There's a lot of action coming in on Belal Muhammad right now. Muhammad is kind of the popular take here because of his performance as of late. I mean, he's been kind of on the rise a little bit, and then Thompson obviously suffering that loss to Burns in his last fight. I think that was kind of a setback. I mean, even Burns is a high-level competitor. There's no question about it. I mean, he just fought for the title, for crying out loud. So it's not like it's a bad loss. But that being said, I think overall the big picture is a lot of people think that Thompson might be on the decline. He's getting older, and Muhammad's still on the rise. He's still improving, getting better. So at the dog price, it's very attractive. But if Muhammad can't get those takedowns, I don't think he's going to win the fight. I mean, we've seen time and time again Stephen Thompson outstriking very good competition, very good quality strikers. Muhammad is that. He's a good striker, and he's got even that knockout power, right? It's potentially there for him, but I still think Stephen Thompson wins this fight more times than not. If he can avoid getting put on his back, he's going to win this fight. So for me, it's Stephen Thompson. But again, with everything factored in, it's a tough spot to lay over 2-1 on Thompson.
Kraus, who are you going with here?
Anytime you match up Wonderboy with another striker, you gotta lean his way. He's Wonderboy's such an elite level striker. Not only is he an elite level striker, he's got a very difficult style to match with. And although Muhammad's pressure is really good, his takedowns are good. I just don't know if he's gonna get Wonderboy down 5 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really difficult for me to see. So I like Wonderboy in this fight a lot. The price is a little steep for me, but I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Muhammad pulled out a win. I wouldn't be surprised. He enjoys that pressure, I think, and he typically competes well. The fight that keeps going back to my head, though, is he was having some range issues with Leon Edwards. And I know Leon is another elite-level striker, but when it comes to range and range striking and the master of that, it's Wonderboy, man. It's Wonderboy. Now, is his takedown defense as good as Leon Edwards? Probably not. But, man, Wonderboy is an elite-level striker. It's hard for me to bet against him on another striker.
Yeah, I'm also going with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in this fight. And what it comes down to for me is a couple things. First, you got to look at who he lost to in his last fight in Gilbert Burns. I interviewed Wonderboy after that fight. He just wasn't expecting Burns to take him down like that. I think he was expecting a stand-up battle. That's not the way it went. And Burns had the answer. And look at the gym that Burns comes from. Really wrestling-heavy gym. You got Logan Storley. You got a lot of really good training partners over there. So he had the recipe to beat Wonderboy. Belal is not that same type of fighter. In the Maia fight, I think there was a good opportunity for him to really wake the division up and get a really impressive win. He beat Maia, but I don't think it was the type of win that really made me think that this is a contender in the division. How many times have we watched Stephen Thompson and think this guy's still competing at a high level? Remember, we're just a few fights removed from him decisively beating Vicente Luque. Last time I checked, Vicente Luque was the backup for the welterweight title fight. So it just goes to show that Wonderboy, even his last loss, is against a guy that's at the top of the weight class. Belal's fought no one on that level yet, and actually fought Luque. I mean, this was years ago, but still, it was the one time he was finished in a fight. So I just don't see Belal having success in getting Wonderboy to the mat and smothering him. He's only got one submission win, so I don't think there's any major threat on the ground either. And the other thing is, if it does stay standing, who's going to outstrike Wonderboy? There's very few people that are able to live that tale and say that they did that. It's very tough to do. And I just think with Wonderboy, he's going to keep it on the feet and he's going to win a 30-27 decision. Belal could pull something off, but I don't know. I think that Wonderboy is still at a high level. Remember, the UFC re-signed him already. This was supposed to be the last fight on his contract. The UFC actually went through and signed him to a new contract. So obviously they believe in him as well. And I think they could have given him a tougher opponent, to be honest, but they went with Belal, nothing against him. But I think this is a fight. This is Wonderboy Thompson's fight to lose. And one last thing I'll say here is, if you're looking to bet this fight, I would wait closer to fight time. Belal Muhammad's a very popular fighter. Just some of the stuff I'm reading on YouTube, there's a lot of people who feel like he's going to pull it off. that might, push the line a little bit further for Belal, and you might get some better value on Thompson instead of the minus 222 right now. So keep that in mind as well when you're looking to bet this fight if you are on the side of Stephen Thompson. So there we go. Let's get to our prop bet of the week. I will start with you first, Nick. What do you like in prop-wise on UFC Vegas 45?
I'm going to actually go against what you said earlier, sort of. I think the Lewis-Daukaus fight does not hit the scorecards, honestly.
Okay.
I just think that Daukaus, he hasn't been in deep waters before. I understand that Lewis has, but I just think there's too much firepower on both ends. I mean, something's going to give. We've almost seen Lewis. I mean, he's a tough dude, but as the fight progresses sometimes, he doesn't want to be there. It's a chalky price. It's around minus 450 or so. So you look to kind of throw that in a parlay a little bit. I still think there's a little value at minus 450, or you wouldn't parlay it. But if you're looking to throw something into a parlay this weekend, throw that minus 450 line or thereabouts. Throw it in if you want to, parlay it with a football play that you guys have. And one of your fun plays, make it kind of a fun play. I think that's a prop to watch out for this weekend for me. It's a little chalky, but I think it does hit. It's not going to hit the scorecards.
Kraus, what do you like in prop-wise this week?
There's a lot that I like on this card. Like what I like on it, I really like on it, but everything else I hate. And everything that I like is super pricey. So you got to so let's just go. I'm going to throw together a little parlay to get some value out of this. Let's go the over on Belal Muhammad, Wonderboy Thompson, and then let's throw Justin Tafa in on that.
Okay. Straight up, Justin Tafa straight up over Harry Hunsucker, who's fighting. Yeah, that'll be some good value. I think close to plus money, anyways, or if not plus money. I don't have the calculator in front of me, but that's that's the type of thinking that you should be doing. If there's a prop you like, definitely take it with someone you're feeling confident with. And I know you like Tafa over Harry Hunsucker, which is
I like
interesting.
That.
Yeah, I think
that could be a parlay option with that Lewis total, or the Lewis doesn't go as well, right? Something like that. So yeah, you could parlay him with Tafa. So I think there's a couple parlay spots that we're kind of leaning towards. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, my prop bet of the week. I know I did this last week and it burned me, but I'm going the same line of thinking this week. Is I'm going to take another decision prop, and I like Ricky Simón by decision. He currently is a big favorite over Rafael Assunção. He doesn't finish a lot of his opponents, and Assunção, the last fight he was finished by Cody Garbrandt, but Simón's not much of a finisher, and I could see this going 3 rounds where Simón just sort of out-wrestles him or out-muscles him over 3 rounds. Right now it's plus 120. I don't think you can beat that, right? Like Simón typically, unless Assunção's really fallen off a cliff in terms of his career and he's very vulnerable to getting finished, I think this probably goes the distance, and I like Simón here. He's younger. I think there's a lot of reasons to like him in this fight, and the line is pretty, favorable in Simón's side, but I think it could potentially go the full 3 rounds, and at plus 120, you can't beat that price, so that's where I'm going this week. All right, let's get to our bet of the week. James Kraus, who do you like as far as the bet of the week here?
Let's just throw together a fun little parlay and try to get some value out of it. I'm going to go Rony Barcelos, Justin Tafa, and Amanda Lemos, all in one. That should get us plus money.
Yeah,
they're all huge favorites, but I really don't see a scenario where any of those 3 lose. And that's bit me in the ass before, but at plus money, it's really tough to. You got 3 to 1 favorites, and you're getting plus money on them if you put them all together. Normally, this is not my style, and I know the betting sharps out there are having a fit right now. Like, you can't get value out of part. Anyway, those fights I like, and I think they're going to hit. The other ones, man, this is a tough week for me to really it's not even getting value. It's just about who do I think is going to win this fight? And there's a lot of these fights I don't know. This is a tough one. So Barcelos, Lemos, and Justin Tafa.
Cool. Nick, what are you liking as far as the bet of the week?
I like it. I think Cross's parlay hits there, to be honest with you. So I like that. Parlaying all 3 of them together, yeah, not bad at all. For me, I'll go with a pick'em type of fight, though. It's not going to be an easy fight, but I'm going to go with Matt Sales over Jordan Levitt. May not be a popular, play for most people, because I think Levett's ground game, especially after Thug Mitchell came in and submitted my man Sales last time, I think that's fresh in people's minds. But Levitt does have a very good and capable ground game. But I just think people are underestimating Sales a little bit. He's flying under the radar. He hasn't been in the octagon for a couple of years now, so that's a little bit of a concern. But that being said, I think he's going to be just fine, sprawling, brawling, stuffing the takedown attempts, and he's going to light Levitt up on the feet. It's not even going to be a question there. So he's flying under the radar, and if you're getting him at around a pick-em price, I think he should be a much bigger favorite because he's just a level above Levitt, right? So again, I think people don't realize that, but they will after this weekend. So for me, if you're going to get Sales at a pick-em price, you got to go with it. So I'm going to take Matt Sales as one of my favorite plays of this card.
Yeah, interesting. I believe that's a lightweight fight, and Sales is moving up. He was typically at featherweight, so we'll see how he performs in the new weight class as well. And not sure the reason for the layoff, but we'll find out on Saturday. Okay, my bet of the week here is kind of like what I did last week. One of the fights that James mentioned was the Lemos and Angela Hill fight. I like the fight goes the distance prop there, but you're getting that at minus 175, a little rich. I'm going to parlay that with the Thompson and Belal Muhammad fight going the distance as well. So it comes out to about plus 125. Thompson, when was the last time he finished an opponent? It's been forever. Belal, same deal. Like Belal typically goes the distance as great as he is. Even Damian Maia, someone that I think he had a clear advantage over, he wasn't able to finish him. So I think that fight, if you just want to play it safe, if you don't want to go on either side, and the reason I'm not picking Lemos straight up by decision, I mean, you can. Angela Hill, for whatever reason, is always in close fights, split decision. That's just not something I want to be worried about. I'd rather just take the price of it going the distance in this one. So you parlay that, you get about minus 125. I think it's a pretty good deal as far as what we have here for my bet of the week. Hold on, Kraus got kicked out. Let me get him back in here. Okay, there we go. So that was my bet of the week. Gentlemen, before we wrap up here, is there anything else on this card that you're looking at as far as something with any value or anything you kind of are keeping an eye on?
Like I said, I think you have to kind of wait and see where the lines go on some of these fights as well as we get closer to fight day a little bit. There might be some spots that open up. But from top to bottom, yeah, this is definitely a card I think that you got to approach with a little bit of caution, more so than anything else. So I'm in the same line as James Krause. I think that the potential is there, but you got to be careful. So if something opens up by fight day and there's some drastic line movement, maybe something else will open. But I'm curious personally to see James Krause this weekend, man. You got some stuff going on with UFC Fight Pass, don't you? Outside of it, I know I'm getting off track a little bit, but I think the people want to know, right? You're grappling this weekend on UFC Fight Pass.
The grappling deal.
There you go. So check out Krause in action Thursday on Fight Pass.
All right, well, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. Just one other fight I wanted to make a note of. I think there's some value on Macy Chasson as an underdog against Raquel Pennington. It's at 145. Macy's one of those fighters that I think people are underestimating a little bit. Just the one loss to Lena Landsberg. I know Raquel Pennington is a beast, and she's only lost to some of the best here. But I like the fact that Macy is healed up. She had a lot of health issues. I think if it goes into deep waters, I think Macy could pull that one off. So just not an official play here, but one to keep an eye on might be Macy Chasson getting it done against Raquel Pennington. We'll see. So any other thoughts on this card, Kraus, or shall we close it out, as they say?
I was just saying it's a tough one for me. I don't really like much on this, so I typically will round robin what I do like. Like I like Tafa a lot. I like Barcelos a lot, and they're all. And then I like Lemos a lot. They're all chalky, so like I'll go Barcelos, Tafa, Barcelos, Lemos, and then Tafa, Lemos, Tafa, Barcelos. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to round robin those and parlays and get a little bit of value out of them.
Great to hear from both of you guys. This is our last show of the year. Potentially, we'll see what's going on the rest of the way, but this is the last UFC card of the year. Just thanks to everyone who's been watching. We do read the comments and keep mine and everything. And I know a lot of people, like some people like the format, they don't. This works best for us, so we're just happy to give you guys content every single week and give our bets and everything. And we're always looking to give you guys, something better when it comes to the show. Make sure you take advantage of BetDSI. You sign up, you use the promo code UFC, you get a match deposit bonus and a signed photo of James Krause. So for myself, for Nick Kalikas, for James Krause, thank you so much for watching. If we don't talk to you, happy holidays, have a good one, and enjoy UFC Vegas 45 this Saturday from Las Vegas.